Hello, my name is Brandon Ivey. I'm Global Power with Shopping Sherlock, coming to you with more e-commerce news. And this is an article written March 16, 2014. And the title is, E-commerce Boom Hurts Brick and Mortar Retailers. Wholesalers and retailers are putting pressure on brands to help them compete for more effectively with e-commerce websites. Now, I just did a recording of an article that's asking the federal government to come in and level the playing field to make online retailers charge a sales tax so that it will be fair to compete against with the brick and mortar. Now, this article, instead of now just going after the government, they're going to go after the name brands that are selling products through e-commerce. So this is like I don't know, it's like the mafia, right? You know, they're going to put pressure on they're going to send the hitmen out and warn the distributors to say, hey, you better shape up if you're going to sell online, or we're going to do this to you. So let's take a look at this article. E-commerce firms including Flipkart, Snapdeal, Myntra, and Jabong are confronting resistance from all stakeholders of modern retail, from consumer good makers and distributors to offline retailers, as they try to grab a larger share of the consumer's wallet by dangling attractive discounts. I'm telling you, we're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar industry. This is going to get ugly. Too much money involved. And when that happens, these people, millionaires and billionaires, are going to start throwing mud at each other. It's going to get dirty. So take a look at this. Wholesalers and brick-and-mortar retailers, the worst hit by the boom in online shopping, are putting pressure on brands to help them compete more effectively with e-commerce websites. In other words, somebody's moving in on their turf. Some online shopping company is on their block, so they gotta go take out the distributors, so that they can't get their product to these online stores. While some electronic goods makers such as Lenovo Group and Toshiba Corp warned last month that e-commerce sites weren't their authorized resellers, several apparel makers are in talks with online markets to get them to reduce discounts, ranging from 20 to 40%, said three executives working for online retailers. So here's the deal. People are shopping online to save money. So what they're going to do is make these companies not give so much of a discount for online. So they want you to pay more money for the products online. That's the bottom line here. They're saying, well, people are going online because they don't have to pay as much money as they came into my store. So you need to increase your prices online. That's what this is all about. The problem is not nearly as big as it is with electronic retailers, but brands are talking to us about reducing the quantity of coupon discounts, said Ganesh Subramanian, Chief Operating Officer at Myntra, one of the top two online fashion retailers in India, along with Jabong. Coupon discounts refer to price offs that all major online retailers and marketplaces offer customers if they purchase value of goods exceeds a certain amount. Although e-commerce accounts for less than 1% of the total retail market in India, it is by far the fastest growing retail channel. It is estimated to grow to as much as $22 billion, excluding travel, in 5 years from $3.1 billion currently. Last week, India's largest online retailer, Flipkart, said it was on course to sell goods worth as much as $1 billion annually on its website in the year to 31 March, achieving its target a year in advance. What? They're going to reach $1 billion in the first 3 months? You've got to be kidding. I remember back in the day, meaning about 3-4 years ago, when Cyber Monday reached $1 billion in the entire industry. Here we're talking about one company that's doing $1 billion annually. One company. With a large supply chain and logistics network that does not require middlemen in most cases, online shopping sites have been enticing consumers with aggressive discounts, putting market share ahead of profitability. Fashion brands have already noticed Indians adopting the practice of showrooming, consumers browsing merchandise at a store, and then purchasing the goods online because of attractive discounts, said Arun Serdu, co-founder and chief executive officer at online retailer Fashionara. Some companies have been quick to respond. Offline retailers and brands are showing concern because their offline business is getting hit, and to an extent there is fear among brands that their image can get hurt if the prices are too low. When online was small, this whole thing wasn't a big issue. Now, because of the fast growth, it is. A senior executive at a large mobile phone retailer said brands are fast realizing that prices and demand may be dictated by the online channel, if that isn't happening already. Over the past few months, footfalls at retail stores have been impacted. The slowdown isn't only to be blamed for this, but sales have evidently been shifting online, and this demand is hurting the larger ecosystem of offline retailers, the executive said on condition of anonymity. Camera manufacturer Canon, for instance, has stopped selling its products on some websites. So it's starting to work for some of them, right? We are not doing direct business with online sites where price disruptions are the core proposition, said Alok, executive vice president at Canon India. The company pulled out its products from a few shopping portals a few weeks ago. We do have some partners who are adhering to our terms and requirements and have been authorized to sell, he said. Yeah, you guys keep doing that and watch Amazon and eBay explode even bigger than it is right now. Just as big businesses find tax loopholes, people are going to find ways of getting your product at a cheaper price. That's just how it is. Offline backlash. The boom in e-commerce has particularly hurt small and regional offline retailers, some of which are lobbying with the government for a ban on foreign direct investment in e-commerce firms. India doesn't allow FDI in online retail but allows foreign funds in marketplaces. Late last year, Harry Rastogi, who used to distribute Samsung and Dell products to bricks and mortar retailers in Karnataka, got over 4,000 small offline retailers selling books, electronics, and apparel together, and formed an industry body called We Will Act to lobby against e-commerce firms. Wow. Rastogi shut his business as retailers demanded lower prices, and he is now volunteering with the Aam Aadmi Party, partly because the party has publicly opposed FDI in retail. Margins have almost vanished, and all offline retailers, especially the small regional ones, are feeling the pain. It's not possible for offline retailers to compete against, they're calling this predatory pricing of online retailers. And there are several firms, including mine, that have shut shop because of that. How do you call one company who is lowering its prices as predatory? That's called, if they can afford to operate and sell the product at a cheaper price, that's capitalism. You just can't compete. So you can't blame them for that. According to Rajan Malhotra, CEO at Future Group, owned electronics and gadgets retailer eZone, and Group President Retail Strategy at Future Group, e-commerce is bound to have an adverse impact on sales and footfalls at bricks and mortar stores. It's a new industry and clearly flush with money. We are seeing multiple instances of predatory pricing. However, it is not sustainable in the long run. However, instead of feeling threatened, the company plans to step up its own online business. There you go, bingo. That's what I'm talking about. Instead of feeling threatened, the company plans to step up its own online business. If you can't beat them, join them. If they have a business model that's working, it's time for you to change. It will invest in eZone Online and even as it expands its existing network of 62 brick and mortar stores. The future consumer will shop online for lower price gadgets, so we cannot ignore the relevance of this platform. Malhotra said, adding that brands will ensure that e-tailers do not... Oh, I haven't heard of that one before. Wow, reading this article, I learned something new. That's going to be a new word in the dictionary. Not e-retailers, it's e-tailers. Do not undercut prices. Samsung Electronics, which sells smartphones across retail channels, isn't fazed by the deep online discounts, even though it operates its own online stores called Samsung Smartphone Cafes. A Samsung India spokesperson said the firm keeps the overall interest of the end users of its products and services in mind. We respect the right of consumers to make informed choices, this person said. For now, e-commerce sites continue to offer aggressive discounts. If anything, the discounts have increased slightly over the past 6 months as large sites have boosted their cash reserves, analysts have said. Flipkart, Snapdeal, Myntra, and Jabong all received between $50 million and $360 million over the past year, and with the entry of Amazon, the world's largest online retailer, which launched its India marketplace last June, competition has significantly intensified. For this reason, online retailers are more reluctant than ever to cut discounts for the fear of losing customers to rivals. You can't reduce discounts just like that. It's an intensely competitive market, so it's going to take time for discounts to come down. Here's the best thing for consumers. Yeah, it's not good that you're going to lose your job. But on the flip side, whenever you have competition, you're going to have prices drop as these companies compete for your business. Competition is good. Lessons from overseas. India isn't the first country where offline and online retailers have clashed. In the U.S., Amazon.com and eBay Inc. faced similar problems from the traditional supply chain. When they were fast expanding in the 2000s, they continued to be criticized for steep discounting prices and, in some cases, sales of unauthorized and even fake products. The steep discounts only widened the difference between online and offline prices, as until recently, online retailers had been exempted from paying sales tax in the U.S. German sporting goods maker Adidas said in June 2012 that it banned its dealers around the world from selling Adidas products on major e-commerce sites, including eBay and Amazon. Many fashion brands, including Guess and Ralph Lauren, also complained to Amazon over the past 2 years about steep discounting by third-party sellers as the online retailer ramped up its marketplace business, which now generates over 40% of its volume, according to a Reuters report, October 23, 2012. However, these complaints haven't stopped Amazon from offering the lowest prices in most categories, said R.G. Hotovny, analyst at Morningstar Inc., a U.S.-based research firm. According to a study by Morningstar in which it checked prices of 400 products across 15 categories, including electronics, in the U.S., Amazon's prices were 8% lower than others, including brick-and-mortar retailers. Hotovny, who tracks consumer goods, said over the phone from Chicago. Even if there were I just said this in the last article. Pay close attention to this. Even if there were a nationwide sales tax, which we think is likely at some point in the future, Amazon's price leadership would still be 5%. Most brands are happy to have their products on Amazon because it has the kind of reach and supply chain that they can match. In other words, by putting your product on Amazon and at a lower price, you're going to make more money than if you didn't. Why? Because you have more eyeballs seeing your product. It's all about foot traffic. Only in this case, it's called e-traffic. More people's going to see your product than if they came into your store. Therefore, you're going to have more sales. That's just the bottom line. Brands across many categories probably get lower margins selling online. But it's such a big channel that they can't afford to not have some kind of presence. Also, many first-time buyers buy through Amazon, so it's a big risk to not sell there, he said. Amazon also clashed with the world's largest supermarket chain, Walmart stores. In 2009, as both were pushing steep discounts on books, electronics, and toys, at a time when the U.S. economy was still in the post-recession slump, according to a New York Times article dated November 23, 2009. The two companies later resolved the price dispute. The resolution in India may not be quick for several reasons. For one, both e-commerce and modern retail are growing alongside. In the U.S., e-commerce took off when modern retail was already mature. Talk about too big to ignore. Besides, India follows the maximum retail price model. which makes it easier for consumers to see the extent of discount. In the U.S., prices are not regulated, and the price of a product in different retail channels may vary hugely. In fact, the mature U.S. retail environment has created price warriors among brick-and-mortar stores. Last but not least, India's e-commerce companies, funded by private equity firms, are still in the investment phase. In such a CEO of Shopping Sherlock, Michael Weeder, said this: "We are at the beginning of a 10-year golden window of opportunity." 10-year window of opportunity. So here, this is the beginning. They're still in the investment phase. In such a scenario, these companies are not only cutting their own profit margins excessively, but even impacting those of offline retailers, said Forrester Research, Inc. Amazon's experience in the U.S. indicates that while discounting by e-commerce firms in India may decrease in future, their prices will always be comparatively lower, and brick-and-mortar retailers will simply have to find ways to cope with it, experts said. I think it's a short-term issue. Really? Because it's in the interest of both the brands and the online retailers that they work out a mutually beneficial solution, said Pinakaranya Mishra, partner at audit and consulting firm EY. Online is too big a medium for brands to ignore because it's clearly becoming increasingly popular with consumers, so brands can't afford to not sell there. And online retailers can't afford to discount too heavily because they need to make profits at some point. So they need to sit down and work out a deal. Many clothing brands, including Puma, Lee, and others, already work with online retailers to test demand in smaller cities and towns and collaborate on discounting strategies, especially in leftover stock. Mehta, managing director of Puma South Asia, isn't complaining about the price offs that e-commerce portals such as Jabong, Myntra, Flipkart, and even Puma Shop offer. Although it does have an impact on offline sales if offline discounts are too steep, it's too small in proportion. As long as the products are moving, we are okay with the price points they go at, he said. On the other hand, some offline retailers are responding to the threat from e-commerce firms by adapting an omni-channel approach, offering the same benefits, value, and shopping experience across mediums. At the Retail Leadership Summit in Mumbai in February, retailers such as Shoppers Stop, The Mobile Store, Chroma, and Spencer's Retail were talking up their strategy of integrating their stores with their websites and trying to make e-commerce a crucial medium of sales. Over the next 12 to 15 months, every large player who wants to make an impact and make sure that their customer base doesn't get eroded will move towards omni-channel. Govind Shirkande, managing director of Shoppers Stop, said at the summit in February. Very, very intriguing article. E-commerce is not going away. It's only getting bigger, and there's a lot of new money to be made by those who are positioned to take advantage of this, just like Shopping Sherlock is. My name is Brandon Ivey, Global Power with Shopping Sherlock. See you next time. Bye-bye.